Hello, welcome to this episode of CXO Cafe, a series of learning interactions with CIOs on various aspects of digital collaboration. In this episode, we would be focusing on enabling hybrid workspaces. I'm Anil Chopra, VP Research and Consulting at CyberMedia Research, and your host for this episode. Before the pandemic, most organizations felt that office was essential for every employee to go for getting the work done. But after the first wave, we realized it was a misconception. Office is no longer essential, and productivity can be achieved by working remotely as well. But there is another reality that remote working is not possible for all the roles. Manufacturing companies, for instance, require physical presence of people to manufacture products. They must take measures to ensure the health and safety of their employees as they come to work. This calls for creating a hybrid work environment, and technology is a key element for ensuring this. To discuss how to use this technology innovatively for enabling a hybrid work environment and understanding some of the challenges involved in doing so, I would like to welcome Sharad Kumar Agarwal, Chief Digital and Information Officer, JK Tire and Industries. Now, JK Tires, the flagship company of JK organization, is one of India's foremost tire manufacturers and amongst the top 25 manufacturers in the world. Sharad has over 27 years of cross-functional expertise in both IT and business management. He has a penchant for knowledge, learning, and market awareness. He's a grounded person with strong domain experience in manufacturing. An effective communicator, Sharad possesses excellent relationship management and team building skills. Welcome to the CXO Cafe, Sharad.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for so much of praise, probably which I may not be worthy of. Yeah, but thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Sharad. Now, we all have our stories around how the pandemic made our lives, take a complete U-turn. Tell us any particular interesting incidents, challenges that happened in your life due to the pandemic, and how did you go about fixing them?
No, actually, it's a very recent one. In the wave two, couple of my colleagues were hospitalized, and they were in various state of health. No one was in a good state, honestly. So we had a correct team which was just trying to find remdesivir for them, to find sometimes plasma for them. So I think was the toughest phase, and we never even thought that oxygen is something that for which you may be looking for. Means I'd heard when in sea you say water everywhere, not a drop to drink. But similarly, it happened for the oxygen. We have every air, every oxygen everywhere around us. So that was really something very depressing. But somehow, most of the people came out winners. So that's a life-changing moment. That COVID, nothing related to technology. It's very personal, but it's like thought that I like to share it with all.
Right. Thank you so much. I think you're right. Nothing to do with technology, but I think it's something that we've all, kind of faced. Now, the first wave forced every organization to enable a work from home culture. What has changed during this second wave, and possibly, something that you've learned from, and more possibly in the subsequent waves also, you'll be ready for? What has really changed?
So just one thing, praying that no subsequent waves come. So that's a prayer. So praying for the best, hoping for the best, and preparing for the worst. So yes, we know that there might be something of a different nature around the corner. So wave one was the stepping stone for any organization to enable work from home. And more so for companies like us, which never had thought that even a person can work from home. But yes, in the if I remember correctly, probably March 22nd, 2019 was the day when the first lockdown started. And we had to, so if I look at our workforce, probably 50% of the workforce would be working on desktops. So, but because as a group, we were quite cognizant of the situation. So we quickly found our BYOD policy, created a pool of devices. So this was a very unique concept, pool of devices. If somebody was having a personal device also, we requested him to give it to JK. So all of us pooled, and that BYOD concept was formed. So good thing that happened in wave two technologically was because we had been there, seen it and done there. Then that came in very handy. So what we did, we had not taken all the devices. So these devices were ready. So when this was say lockdown two or lockdown of wave two hit us, so we were already used to working that way. So that kept us prepared, and probably if something of this nature happens again, I don't think there's something additional that we'll have to do. Means we are prepared, we have to just switch that button on.
That's great. So you're already prepared, and I think a lot of learnings from the first time only. Do you think that hybrid workplace is here to stay for the long term? And what sort of changes has it really brought to your IT operating models?
Hybrid. If we look at companies which are purely into IT or ITS space, this will stay. Like we heard from a couple of companies, like even from SAP, they have allowed work from anywhere for all those employees. In those environment, it's quite possible. But in an environment like us, as you in the very beginning introduction itself said, for manufacturing, it's not possible to have the shop floor activities done from remote. But yes, there are a couple of things like using. So I'm just specifically talking of the maintenance or the manufacturing related things. Use of AR VR can be built in to provide support remotely. And for the offices, I feel for some time offices will operate with depleted attendance, trying to keep the social distancing impact, because in all of the offices, what normally happens that people normally are not 5 to 6 feet apart. So you will have to allow people, at least the person who was sitting in between, you would have to allow him to work from home a day on every alternate day. So that shall be the setup of the offices in times to come. And I don't think the office design may also change. So you would be like when I was with Patni, I recall very clearly that they used to give us an allowance to set up a mini office in the home itself, for because you were taking calls, you were having clients around the globe. So probably you might have to take a call at 12 in the night or 4 a.m. in the morning. So that sort of things will become a norm in India also. And for manufacturing per se, things would remain in a different atmosphere. But for the IT related activities, I feel that even my team will be working on a rotation sort of policy.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you're right. So that's the whole idea that, in a manufacturing setup, the office, there will be people who have to come to office. So there has to be a mixed mode kind of environment that has to be there. But now that so many things have to be done remotely, including casual or even formal meetings, how is really IT enabling this seamless collaboration, in a distributed workforce environment? Some people might be in the plant, some people might be at home, some people might be somewhere else. How is the seamless collaboration really happening?
No, actually, that has become very, I would say, that has become a hygiene factor, very easy. When the school classes of a pre-nursery kid can be conducted over a video chat. So a baby, a child who is just learning, so if he can attend a class remotely, so I think we are quite grown up to attend it in a positive, constructive way. Yeah. So, but with all the tools available, without naming, calling out any, all of them are equally good. But just we need not go by their market rankings or market shares. But yes, all of the tools are equally compatible to serve each need of the video collaboration in this mixed environment. And people, and another important thing is etiquettes of this video conferencing. In the last 1.5 year, or sorry, just in last 13 months, people have learned those etiquettes also. When to keep them on mute, when to keep the video on, when to blur the background, or so all those sort of etiquettes have become clearer to all the people. And another important thing that has happened is people have provisioned for internet connectivity at every place. Today even the mobile network is also very strong. Just for everyone's clarity, I am now connected from the mobile hotspot because of some power issue at my place. So that has become so strong that you can, and these are not the network guzzlers anymore. So it is keeping the show on, and in a very good livid manner. That's
Thank you. Yes, but as a CDIO, as somebody who looks after the digital as well as the IT setup, what would be some of your learnings on the risks and challenges in enabling, such a hybrid workforce, and how do you really address them?
okay. Now that's really a very good question. So as I said in the beginning, that we strengthened our BYOD policy, and so what happens if a person is trying to is has to use a personal device? So we configure it to JK tier environment. We put in all the required softwares from a compliance perspective as well as the cyber security perspective on that device temporarily till that device is for official use, and request that person not to use it. So we create partitions. If a part of it is to be used for personal works, so that is would be used for the personal work. So that's the primary thing that we are doing. And yes, because of people working from unsecure places, we have to be extra vigilant from the cyber security perspective. So we have put an we have given extra to our SOC team, which is any which way is a managed one. We have requested more services from them to keep everything under control. But yes, you are just an incident away from claiming yourself safe, because things are really, we have heard so many of instances in this last pandemic year. People have been targeted, being using so much, I would say, inhuman and careless methods. But yes, we have to be very vigilant in controlling that.
Thank you. So what would be, some of your key learnings and takeaways from both of these waves that are helping evolve, a hybrid kind of a workspace? What would be some of your learnings that you would want to share with, others?
So first one, topmost one is collaboration. So we have been collaborating amongst ourselves with our partner ecosystem, with our outsourced teams, with OEs, with everyone. We are collaborating on means I'm not naming out the platform, yes, but we have been collaborating on multiple platforms, and now the agenda, now the work files are being managed centrally, so that if Anilji wants to do some change, we are working on the shared files, which are open to all to edit. So the remote trust has increased amongst people, collaboration has increased, and though there are the security threats have increased, so we need to be more vigilant to control the security threats. These are the three major learnings that I have as a IT person, as digital persons imbibed, apart from how to keep people healthy. So there have been things like that, people are very used term, Zoom fatigue. So how to know well-being of your team. Though these are the software skills that probably we have started learning uh, the tough way. But yes, that's necessary.
Thank you. Yes, I noticed you used a term called Zoom fatigue, which actually is become a very commonplace nowadays. That people do get tired sitting in front of the camera for a long period of time, and how do you really manage that? It is now becoming a common thing, and people are learning how to come out of it. So thanks, Sharad, for sharing your insights. I think it was indeed very interesting to listen to your views.
It was a pleasure that you invited me to this forum to share my thoughts. Probably they might have been useful to, and I'm very much reachable to whosoever wants to, if I can be of any help to anyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, that is all for today. We hope you enjoyed watching this episode of CXO Cafe and found the interaction useful. Quite a lot of interesting insights actually came out of this discussion in terms of how a hybrid workspace can actually be enabled, where people have to go to work, have to go to office. Not all roles can actually work out of home alone. So how do you really manage that? How do you ensure that you can keep the team going, keep the people working? So quite a lot of learnings that we got today from today's interaction. And we will be back again soon with a lot more interesting chats. So do stay tuned, and till then, goodbye. Thank you.